Right. For this last part of topic nine, I want to talk a little bit about medicine and culture and different ways that cultures approach medicine and medical practice. We find a lot of what we know about medicine clearly comes from the culture we grew up in. Western medicine, generally speaking, says illness arises from deteriorating organ systems, stress, and infections. Okay, so these are the top three, and what you find is if you go to non-traditional or traditional non-Western medical, none felt organ deterioration was a major cause of illness. Only 3 out of 186 thought stress was a cause, and only one viewed infection as a cause. So clearly, this idea of stress and infections, etc., is a Western concept. In fact, in these traditional societies, the number one belief in illness was supernatural in sorts, that something like ghosts or something, the ghost sicknesses or these kinds of things. Chinese medicine is hugely influential. When I call it Chinese medicine, you should pretty much say pretty much every culture in Asia is medicine, all right? It's not just Chinese, it's just where they start from. And so you find that there's this belief that health arises from balance, a balance in the yin and the yang, as it were. You find that in the West, there's some variability, even though the Westerns tend to think about stress and infections and stuff. But in the same way that we talked in the previous videos, in France, they view the body as a terrain. You have to have a sense of balance. And they're more likely to be prescribing, or less likely to prescribe antibiotics. Instead, long rests, go to the spa. Dirt and germs are something that can strengthen your body or strengthen your terrain. You should not, in fact, bathe on a daily basis. And there's some research recently that the skin does in fact develop a film on it over time, and this film on the skin, if not washed away, does in fact act as the first line of defense for the immune system. And so, as much as it might be culturally against our way of thinking, the notion of bathing every day is unhealthy for us. It leads to depletion of the immune system's first response. So in the U.S., the metaphor of the body is a machine, and so what's going to happen is you wait until a part is broken and then you fix it. Now, clearly, there's been more recognition of preventive medicine in recent years, but still, the predominant view is once a machine breaks, you find out what's broken and you fix the part. Okay, but again, they view each individual part as an individual part, whereas the French are much more likely to think of the body as one coherent whole. So even though you get some variability between, health beliefs in these different cultures, you can see based on the colors of these images here, the diamonds represent what doctors think, and the circles represent what lay people think. And as a rule, you can see the dots are sort of um, converging on sorts. I mean, in some cases, like in Italy, there's a fairly large, but even in the UK, but look at that. In France, in Germany, and in America, the views by physicians and normal people are fairly similar to each other. But when it comes to traditional Chinese medicines, some of it's a little weird, in my opinion. That's me being ethnocentric right now. But it often uses animal parts. You've got here, what do I have? Dried mushrooms. I got turtle shell, underbelly, curled snakes, ginseng. So it does use ingredients that are different. They also use acupuncture much more often, and cupping. Cupping is, if you can see, it's it's all about balancing the yin and the yang in various ways, finding those points that are out of balance, and using acupuncture and or cupping to put the body back in balance. You can see there with cupping, what happens is you use a flame here, and you use that to heat up the air inside of a little round glass sphere of sorts, and you use the heat, and it gets real hot. You put it on the skin, and then the hot air has contracts and pulls the skin up, and it's supposed to pull the bad blood apparently out. So traditional Chinese medicine. This is comes straight out of our Wikipedia. I've sourced it and everything. 2 and 42. Um, it doesn't have any research to it. They're still unable to find any evidence that it works, but nowadays they're finding more and more in Western medicine, more and more um, different herbs and different that do amazing things to the body, and so traditional Chinese medicine, in my opinion, should be researched better. Um, I think that the scientific community as a whole, including myself in most cases, rejects traditional Chinese medicine out of hand, but probably shouldn't because I'm sure that a lot of traditional Chinese medicine is full of shit. I just can't believe that if you consume, you know, dried rhinoceros acorn, dried rhinoceros horn, they'll powder it up. And if you consume that, then you're able to get a tremendous erection. And I'm like, maybe a little psychosomatic there. And so a lot of it I'm very skeptical and, in fact, very troubled by. But yet, that doesn't mean we should throw out the entire notion of traditional Chinese medicine because I think there are many things out there that would stand up to scientific scrutiny if done properly.